The next way that we're going to strengthen short, simple sentences is to add dependent clauses. Dependent clauses sound a little more complex than prepositional phrases, and they are, but you don't need to worry. A dependent clause is simply a piece of a sentence, an incomplete sentence, that you add to your complete sentence to make a complex sentence. But the most useful thing is to know that a dependent clause begins with a subordinating conjunction. And just like the list of prepositions, we have a list of subordinating conjunctions. So click on the link below and look at the list of subordinating conjunctions. Grab a word, begin your sentence with it, and as you finish your thought, you will naturally construct a dependent clause. You can put that in front of an independent clause, and now you have what's called a complex sentence. My one bit of warning, just like with prepositional phrases, if you begin a sentence with a dependent clause, you're going to want to follow it with a comma. If you take that same dependent clause and move it to the end of the sentence, you don't need a comma. Let's do some examples. Let's say that you're writing an essay as a write-up after a science experiment. You have the simple sentence, the water in the test tube froze. Let's add some details at the beginning in a dependent clause. Our first step is to grab a subordinating conjunction. Let's take the word when. When the temperature dropped below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, comma, the water in the test tube froze. Or, as the temperature dropped, comma, the water in the test tube froze. Or, because the freezing point of water is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, comma, the water in the test tube froze. Those are all dependent clauses, and you've started your sentence with them, and they sound a lot more smart. They're a lot better sentences. Little side note, when you were in elementary school, some of your teachers might have warned you not to start a sentence with the word because. Well, that's actually false. It's great to start a sentence with the word because, as long as it's part of a dependent clause, followed by a comma, and then the rest of your sentence. Too often students have the dependent clause that starts with because, and then they just stop. So there's a little trivia for you. So grab a couple sentences, maybe 3 or 4 of the sentences in your essays that are short, and then add a dependent clause at the front by simply looking at the list of subordinating conjunctions.